Hey, what's going on everyone? This is G and I'm Phunken Hungry. In this video, we're going to try Hungry Jack's new cheesy range. So they have a cheesy Whopper, they have a cheesy Jack's fried chicken burger, and also they have some cheesy loaded fries. You can either get the fries in cheesy fries or you can get them in cheesy barbecue loaded fries. I grabbed it all by the balls and we're going to give Jack's new cheesy range a try. So I've got my delivery from good old Feng. Shout out Feng, you're a lovely bloke. What's in the box with the dots? I mean, what's in the bag with the lines? That's a reference to Becky's cooking adventures. All right, let's bust this open and have a look. So we've got our bag, hopefully it's got what I want. And we have a Walter. Got to have a bit of Walter. Here you go, there's your Walter. Looks like the cheesy chicken. We have a Whopper, a cheesy Whopper. And I'm sure just like the pictures, and no cutlery as well. Lucky I did bring my little forky dorky. Got to be a dork with a fork. Okay, let's have a look. This is the loaded smoky barbecue cheesy chips. I'm looking forward to seeing this. You can have a look first, and then I'll have a look. Doesn't look too bad, I guess. I was expecting a lot worse, to be honest. But yeah, you get a portion of chips, you get the cheesy sauce, and you get a bit of smoky barbecue sauce. Here's my trusty sidekick, Mr. Fork. Let's have a fork around in my box. Nothing like a fork in a box. All right, let's get a bit of the cheese. It is all on top, which is a little bit annoying. If they wanted to be extra fancy, put a bit of chips, like half of the portion of chips, put a bit of cheese and sauce, and then put the rest on, and a bit of cheese and sauce. Maybe I'm just being a funky and fussy git. Anyway, let's see if my mouth can take all of this. Let's see how big my mouth really is. Cheers. Cheesy. Oh, that's right, I didn't give it a Funkin' Hungry sniff. Anyway, it's cheesy, potatoey, not getting a huge barbecue taste, but I did think if I'm having the cheese in the burgers, may as well go the barbecue sauce, the smoky barbecue sauce with the cheese, because I just feel like the cheese will get a bit sickly, or, you know, I may as well go the more fancy one. I'm not going to get two loaded fries to try. They're obviously going to be similar. I do like the spices that accompany the barbecue sauce. It's like you got the barbecue sauce and all of its entourage, all those spices, a little bit tangy, a little bit sweet, a little bit smoky. Not as smoky as I thought, especially them calling it smoky. Old Smoky, let's give it a try. Cheers. To be honest, it's so simple, but these are funkin' delicious. I'm actually really enjoying these. For just some loaded fries, with just fries, very well seasoned fries. They have chicken salt on our Hungry Jack's fries. Hungry Jack's is the same brand as Burger King. It's just a different name in Australia. But we have chicken salt here, which you wouldn't have in other Burger Kings. So the chicken salt adds a nice chicken flavour to the chips, the potatoes. The creamy cheese, it's, you know, like a cheap cheese. It's not like a Gouda or a Camembert. It's not like a highly aged, mild cheddar, you know. But it's just the cheesiness. Just a slight little cheesiness, a little bit like American cheese, or, you know, like plastic cheese, that sort of flavour. Just creamy, milky, not much actual cheese flavour going on. But still, nice cheesiness. And I feel like the barbecue sauce is the way to go. A little bit here. But yeah, that barbecue sauce adds the spices and the flavour that you like. Anyway, have a little bit of a nibble, then I'll move on. So my rating for Hungry Jack's loaded smoky barbecue cheesy chips. Look, I'm going to give them a 7.5. Those loaded chips are good for a fast food restaurant loaded chips. Now the price, however, is $5.95. I do feel like it's a pretty small portion for $5.95. You can get a lot different stuff that will fill you up for that price. Even though if you just want a snack, these would be good if you just like want a small meal, a snack. My price rating for $5.95, look, I'll give them a 4 out of 10 for price rating. I feel like it's below average, so it gets a below average score, even though they are quite nice. They are nice and fresh though. I can imagine if you get stale fries, they'll be crap. Obviously, if they're sitting around for a while before they either hand them to you, or if you go home, basically if they're old and stale and crap, these were quite hot, warm, fresh tasting. Obviously, it depends how fresh your fries are. Pretty funkin' good though. I'm gonna wet the whistle. All right, let's wet the whistle. Popeye the Sailor Man. Toot, toot. That's the saying, isn't it? All right, bit of water. Got to wet the whistle with the water. Oh man, still hot in South Australia. Still bloody warm out there. Nice bit of water. I'll give that water 10 waters out of 10. It's a water. It's water. You know, what is it? All right, now let's have a look at the cheesy chicken burger. Better have put bloody cheese sauce on this. Looks like maybe a bit of cheese sauce. You see, like here, it looks a little bit different than the mayo. Yeah, it looks like that. You can see cheese sauce just here on the top. That's a little bit of cheese sauce though. The mayo is a lot more than the cheese sauce. Really, I probably wouldn't put mayo and cheese sauce on it. So this comes with a bun with ghee on it. Comes with mayonnaise, lettuce, cheese sauce, cheese slice, and Jack's fried chicken fillet. Just like when Clackers, Kentucky Fried Clackers, KFC, did their cheesy zinger, I had bugger all cheese sauce in it. So yeah, it depends on who makes it. You know, some people get lots of cheese. Apparently I get like a, I don't know, like a half a teaspoon, quarter of a teaspoon of cheese. Anyway, let's give this a try. This is Jack's Cheesy Cheese Jack's Fried Chicken. Cheers. The Jack's Fried Chicken, the chicken itself is really nice. Nice soft bun. I'm getting that chicken come through. I'm getting the mayo and the lettuce, which is a nice mix. There is a little bit of cheesiness, but it's coming from the cheese slice. Not really that cheese sauce. I'll bite here. I'll bite wherever in hopes that I find some cheese. Cheese miners. Everything's shrinking these days. Bloody shrinkflation in full effect. But yeah, nice burger. Not really getting the cheesiness from it. I'd rather just get a cheesy bacon Jack's Fried Chicken burger. So my rating for Hungry Jack's Cheesy Cheese Jack's Fried Chicken. Look, not enough cheese. So I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 10. Look, I'll give this a price rating. I'll give it a 5.8 out of 10 for price rating. So this is the double cheesy cheese Whopper. You can see it's got cheese dripping down this one. We'll take off the top. It's hard to show on camera, but there's bugger all cheese on this as well. No cheese I'm seeing on the top. Not much cheese here. It's dripping down the side. But yeah, there's not that much cheese on it, if you can see. Alright, so this is the double cheesy cheese Whopper. Cheers. Let's give it a Phunken Hungry taste. Give it a quick little Phunken Hungry sniff. Just like a Whopper. Cheers. The creamy cheese is really nice on this actually. So the double cheesy cheese Whopper, you get mayonnaise, lettuce, tomato, onion, cheese sauce, pickles, cheese slice, beef patty on a toasted bun. So that part with the cheese was really nice. You need more cheese sauce on the Whopper, more cheese sauce on the Jack's Fried Chicken, more cheese sauce even on the chips, more cheese sauce even on the neighbour's cat, everywhere. You can see a little bit more cheese in here. Alright, but yeah, the rest of the burger's not going to have cheese sauce because it seemed to be all pushed over the front. Anyway, I'll have one more bite where the cheese sauce is and I'll give it a rating. To be honest, the cheese sauce doesn't have that much flavour, but as I said to you, it just gives you a nice, creamy, milky sort of flavour. It actually complements the Whopper really well. I guess you're not getting ketchup on this instead of you getting the cheese sauce. But yeah, traditional Whopper flavour, a little bit more creamy, milky, cheesy, but as I said, it's more like this is American cheese. It's more like the Australian plastic cheese. Like it's almost white cheese, you know what I'm saying? So in Australia, we get cheese fairly similar to the American cheese, but it actually has less cheese flavour, a little bit more milky. But when I'm rating this, I am going by the amount or lack of cheese sauce, but also the part that I tasted was really nice. So my rating for the double cheesy cheese Whopper, look, I'll give that a 6.8 out of 10. If they had more cheese, I reckon I'd bump that up to maybe a 7, maybe even going on an 8. But seriously, there's no cheese sauce like from, you know, here down. I basically had all the cheese sauce. Maybe you can see a little bit more here. But yeah, be a little bit more generous with that cheese sauce and then you're onto a winner. It's a pretty good price for how big this burger is. Nice big burger, full of fresh ingredients, full of fresh salad. Obviously you do get that, you know, that frozen meat or whatever. It is fairly thin. This is why I normally get the double, because look how skinny the patties are. But you do you, whatever you like, you know. If you can't handle this, probably get a cheeseburger, a kid's burger. Shout out Stylesy, your kid's burger. Anyway, this is a nice big burger full of ingredients, very filling. So my price rating for the double cheesy cheese Whopper, I'll give that 7.8 out of 10 for price rating. But let me know in the comments below if you tried the Hungry Jack's cheesy range. So the loaded cheesy chips or the cheesy burgers. Yeah, the fried chicken burger was really nice. Black and cheese, to be honest, didn't really taste any different. The only difference was I didn't have my bacon. Normally get a cheesy bacon, no bacon. So I guess it was a little bit more creamy or cheesy, but the creaminess was mainly coming from that huge amount of mayo compared to the cheesy sauce. Then the Whopper was really good. The bites that I got with the cheese was really cheesy and creamy. I actually really enjoyed that. But just, yeah, the lack of cheese made me lower that down. Especially when you get in a cheesy burger, you want cheese. Cheese everywhere. Cheese. Let me know if you agree or disagree with what I've said. I'd love to hear it in the comments below. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, if you could please like, please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video. This is G from Phunken Hungry, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.